to thrive. So I'm going to be introducing very briefly. First, I'll invite them on stage, those who are here. 2 of them are here and 2 are online. Just kindly alert us, the media people, once you have the participants online. So we are expecting Dr. Sibeso Luswati joining us from Zambia, an experienced... Oh, great. Hi, Sibeso.
I was in the other room. When I joined using the link, I went into the main room.
Okay. Sorry about that. Sorry, we are running a little bit late on the program. We are about 30 minutes behind schedule, so this will run from 3 to about 5 minutes to 4. I hope you'll still be available, and apologies for that. So, Dr. Sibes, sorry?
I'm available.
Okay, great, thank you.
I said I've been in since morning. I'm available for the day, yeah.
Great, thank you so much. So, I want to quickly introduce you and then bring in the other 3 panelists, and then we can start the presentations. And thank you for being here. So we have Dr. Sibeso Luswati from Zambia. Luseto has a doctoral degree in education, and she has experience with the postdoctoral work and qualifications. And one of those areas is transformational leadership and management development. She's a renowned educator with many, many years of experience. Her last point of service was with the UNICEF as a chief of education, or education chief, and she served in Ethiopia, South Africa, South Sudan, rural communities, more specifically the Ma community. I've visited one of their projects, and they are really, it's an exciting place to be. And then third, we have a paper, sorry, Mercy is going to talk about access to inclusive and equitable education for girls in marginalized areas where girls are marginalized by social norms. Make opportunities for a gendered kind of education, and an education that brings about the realities of girls in here. We're looking forward to hearing more about Kakenya's dream. Then we have a paper that is co-presented by a team from Childline Kenya, and they will be talking about responding to child protection and talking about experiences of the Nandi County. But more importantly, they will also be speaking into the issue of child online protection. I think during the reflection session, or at least the plenary session, there was a lot of discussion around a more recent and emerging challenge in education, which is child online protection concerns, cyberbullying to be more specific, and grooming towards either abuse and exploitation. And Childline Kenya is one of those organizations that is at the forefront of providing online protective tools to children and young people. So the presentation is shared by the executive director, Martha Sunda, who is online. Karibu sana, Martha. Martha has been the has been the executive director of Childline and has worked with Childline for 17 years. She holds a master jointly with the government of Kenya through the Directorate of Children's Services and providing child protection response opportunities. Martha will be working with Lydia Nderito, who is a counselor at the helpline. She has been at the helpline for the last 2 years, providing psychosocial support to children who've been through, who have experienced different kinds of abuse, and as well as also just providing education and awareness around that issue. So, karibu sana, Lydia. Please take a seat because you are co-presenting with Martha. All right, the last one is Hajara Dayiye of Urban. Like thoughts, who minutes. So I'll give you 8 minutes each because we have who minutes. So I'll give you 8 minutes each because we have introduced you Your task now will be to introduce the work that minutes. Please give it a go. What I didn't say is that you are now retired, but you do a lot of consulting work and working with different forums in Africa to develop leadership. You're most welcome.
Thank you. My last duty station was Ethiopia on intergenerational approaches. And I was very interested in the discussion this morning, which indicated that what do we do in terms of scaling up and also scaling deep. One of the things is that most of the things that I learned in girls' education, because we introduced girls' education movement in Africa and AGI with Wholr and all that, I have taken those competencies that we were applying in girls' education and using them. Most of the people that we trained have become leaders. And those competencies in leadership, we are sharing that in growing leaders. Now those girls, those young women now have to lead, because as you do realize on the continent, most of our leaders are men. So I am into this group that is mentoring young women and young African thinkers all over the continent. One of our latest assignments actually is in East Africa, interestingly enough, and we launched in September. Of course, because it was launched in Tanzania, we had to use the Kiswahili phrase of it means arise and lead. So now, learning from what we learned on girls' education and creating safe spaces and ensuring that the girls go to school and they stay in school, we are now saying, definitely now you have to lead. So there are a number of young people who are now taking on that initiative in Tanzania, in Uganda, and now we have come on to Zambia. We are also looking at nurturing even entrepreneurship coming from the groups that we trained in South Africa, in Ghana. We are taking them into entrepreneurship thinking, taking them into mindset change. So the things that have been happening, the research work that was being presented today, I was very excited. I've been in since morning. I was so excited to learn what was happening. The issues of parenting, we are also promoting that. We are going into the areas, particularly where there are disadvantaged families, to see what we can do with parenting. So Hajara, you'll be very much interested to see that the work you are doing in Uganda, we are also applying it now in parenting, not only parenting at early childhood level, but even parenting for other skills and other competencies in the community. Because one of the things is that parenting is a very important social skill that we always look down upon. To me, the work that team here is doing, just Lika is doing, Dr. Sheila and the team are doing, and actually can be scaled. I don't know whether down everywhere it can be applied, and that's been my my experience so far. And the intergenerational approach can be used in the very intergenerational approach that you are promoting. So intergen already can be applied even in growing leaders in Africa, on the continent, with a focus on making sure that more female leaders. And when we look at that, we look at the way in which we can actually grow these female leaders. So that historical fact that I know even Professor Chege mentioned this morning is very critical for us to move on. So the work you are doing can go on to the society, to social development in the society, to economic development, and we are seeing it. And we have our task is to be in the background and to mentor them and to support them, but taking the very skills and competencies that you are using right now to actually make sure that they move on. Thank you very much, unless there's something else that Madam Presider, you want me to say.
We will come back to you because I know you've been involved in the African Leadership Summit, where you've been having dialogues, intergenerational dialogues with young people and you had one recently
Yes.
in Tanzania. So you will tell us your experience in a short while. Yeah, so thank you very much telling us about you have reflected deeply what you're learning from the education system about implementing programs and turning that understanding into interventions that are actually practical. So thank you very much for that. And now I will move to Lydia and Martha. I think, Lydia, you have a presentation. Okay, you can go for it now. You have 8 minutes. Thank you, Sibeso, for saving me some time. But we'll have another round. Okay.
Okay, hi everyone. I'll be presenting something small about the helpline. I don't know if anyone is familiar with it. I don't know if you've heard about it. If in case you haven't, I'm here to talk about the Childline Kenya or the Child Helpline 116. Have you heard of the number? Yeah, so I'm going to say briefly of what we do. I'm going to share what we do briefly. The slides are quite short within the given time. So how do we, the Child Helpline is a non-governmental organization which works together with the government. So the number 116 is the government number, where Child Helpline is the one which officially leads that line. And how do we serve the children? And most of our work we do with children below 18 years. So any cases that are related to children that is below 18 years, they're able to access the Child Helpline. That is through our helpline number 116. And how do we do that? And so this is what we mainly do as the Child Helpline. Through the National Helpline Service, we are able to receive calls throughout the nation. So any child from anywhere in the country, name it, be it Turkana, Bomet, from the Maasai land, even the most remote areas, they're able to reach us through the help number 116. And that number is, we call it, it's able to reach so many people because regardless of the place where that child is, they're able to reach us. Akiwa na the Katululu, they don't need the internet to get to us. All they need is a working number, be it into the Airtel, Safaricom, Orange, whichever, they're able to reach us through the 116. We also do campaigns. Through campaigns, we're able to go to schools, talk to kids about the helpline and how they can reach us. We do training and capacity buildings. We do data collections, and in the data collection, any case that comes to our helpline, it's well documented. And through documentation, we're able to know where is this child calling from, the age of that child, and we're able to know which areas are such cases are prevalent, because some of the cases we get like early marriages, FGM, sexual abuse, incest, all those. Through documentation, we're able to provide the data such that it can be used to tell. Maybe in such a county, Bomet, they're able to tell this number of children who go through abuse, and if it's higher than other places, they're able to strategize and to know. As people who we work with through the community organizations, the people who are involved in protecting the kids, which areas do we need to, how are we supposed to scale up as we've been sharing today, in which area are we supposed to do more when it comes to this kind of abuse, when it comes to this area, and in every area it's usually different. The other way we do is through trauma management. Here we get calls from all kinds of cases, mostly abuse cases. When children call our helpline, they're mostly in distress. So you find that child probably has been defiled, they're not getting their basic needs. Mostly online issues such that you get calls, kids, there are very many abuse that kids go through. So when they call us, most of the times they are traumatized. So what do we do? Through the referrals that you see at the end, that is one of the major things that we do. We are able to refer this child to get the necessary support that they need. And we work hand in hand with the government to be able to relink them with the children office, that's the DCS. Yeah, and lastly, how do we reach the children through the programs? And one, we create awareness, and after creating the awareness, we make ourselves accessible to the kids around. Because after we created the awareness, this child, she's aware this is my right. I need to go to school. I cannot, it's my right to be in school. It's my right to get the basic needs. So they're able to access us easily through the National Helpline 116, whereby they're able to get through our line, through our services, they're able to be referred to the kind of help that they need. And they can reach us through, by responding to them. That is how we refer the children, either to the hospital, to the police station, and also sometimes to the children's offices when they need to be transferred to safe houses and all kinds of
spaces. And what do we need to do as parents or as teachers in order to enable them access those spaces safely? So child online protection is a question we'll come back to you on. I will move on to, and then there's something else. You will also tell us about how you're working with the county governments, because from what you've presented, this is the national level kind of work. But then how does the county government then also enhance the protection space? Okay, Mercy, I'll come to you now. Tell us a lot about Kakenya's dream. You have about 8 minutes. If you can save time, we'll have another round.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nyamu, and good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, my name, I think we've already introduced ourselves, so just going straight to Kakenya's dream. So our slogan here is empowering girls, transform harmful cultural practices are still very rampant. And Kakenya's dream is a non-profit organization founded in 2009. And majorly, we work towards empowering girls and transforming communities. We all know that when a girl is empowered, they are able to change interventions, address critical barriers that is happening in the community. We are looking at providing essential resources and supporting in breaking the systemic barriers. That is the aspects of female genital mutilation, early marriage, teen pregnancies, among others. That is still part of our introduction. Our programming runs for about 9 years. So in the communities we serve, it's fine. In the communities we serve, we are looking at 66% of girls still undergo female genital mutilation, which is alarming. We are looking at 50% of girls are married off in childhood. So in childhood, we are looking at that is barely 19 years or before 19 years of age. And further still is fewer girls. We are looking at 1 in 4 actually graduate high school. So that indicates that the transition rates in secondary to to tertiary institutions in the communities we work or in the counties we work is still relatively low. Next. So our mission as an organization is investing in girls and young women from rural communities as agents of change. So we are looking at through education, through health, and skills development. Our mission, our vision is we are looking at a world where girls and young women is educated, valued, respected, and realize their full potential. So as an organization, we run 4 broad programs. We do education support, we do health and reproductive rights, we do economic empowerment and adaptation and resilience to climate change. The last 2 are the most recent, and I can actually mention that they are also cross-cutters in that, and cuts across many programs. But for a number of years, since we started working as an organization, our focus has been in education and in health. So when we talk about education support, as an organization, we run 2 schools, one being a primary boarding school, and then the other one is a secondary boarding school. What I need to mention here is, I mentioned earlier that we work in a community where cultural practices are very rampant, and you're looking at a girl as early as 9 years is likely to be subjected to FGM. So what we do in our primary school, we partner with the Ministry of Education The school is a public school, and it's running from grade 4 all the way to grade 9. So these girls, when they are in a school environment, I can say they are in a safe space. Why? Because going outside there, the community they come from, female genital mutilation is still a practice which is done to date. We are looking at a community where teen pregnancies are very rampant, and some are not really as a result of one's life related to abuse. So in the schools we serve, we have the primary school, we have slightly above 250 girls. It's unfortunate that the spaces we have are very limiting, meaning given an opportunity we'd be able to house as many as possible, but the space we have, we currently have slightly above 250 girls in grade 4 all the way to grade 9. Talking about the secondary school before I talk about this other program is it's also a boarding school. It's in the Maasai community, the farthest end of Narok, that is Transmara West Sub-County. And in the secondary school, we have slightly above 200 girls in grade 7, all the way to Form 4. So in terms of ensuring there is holistic development of the child, we have, or we ensure that they have access to medical health facilities. We also have a full-time counselor and psychosocial psychologist who is based in our health facility to ensure that 24/7 these girls' mental well-being is well taken care of. They have access to health facilities, nutrition, and a balanced meal, if I can say so, because the communities or the families they come in, most of them are vulnerable, meaning in most cases a child would go, or a family would probably have 1 meal or 2 meals. So when the child is at school, they are definitely in a very safe space. So as part of ensuring that these girls are able to fully realize their potential, we don't leave them after completing primary school or after completing secondary school. So what we do is we support them through their first destination, which to us means when a girl finally gets to tertiary institution where they are supposed to, they manage to do an artisan course or a certificate, a diploma, or a degree program. To us, that is their first destination. So currently we have, so the secondary school I mentioned, we have slightly above 200. But then we have about 174 girls that we support in over 80 secondary schools. That means, I mentioned earlier about the limited spaces. So we are supporting them beyond our schools to ensure that they are able to access education and also provide them with the scholarship opportunities that they require to realize that. The gap year program is purely catering for girls before they transition to college. So that is the transition period between completing KCSE, that is with the old system of education, and transitioning to tertiary institution, which I mentioned earlier, ranging from artisan all the way to the degree program. So during that period, we ensure that we train them on computer training, we do financial literacy and entrepreneurship. That is ultimately ensuring that we equip them with the skills they require so that as they transition to tertiary education, they are able to be independent in a way. Okay. Sorry. So those, that is part of our girls who have graduated from the various institutions. We do a celebration for them so that we transition them to our alumni network. So just to summarize on the education impact, we've been able to support slightly above 1,000 girls through our schools. And good to note is 100% of our girls have been protected from FGM and child marriage. And then we have 6 girls being in high school, in other secondary schools, and those in tertiary education. So that's what I can mention about the education aspect. though, yeah, thank you.
The health program as well. Thank you very much. I think you can already see there's a lot of practical solutions that are emerging, and we'll come back to you so that you can tell us why was it so important for Kakenya's dream to set up a boarding facility in the context of the kind of social norms that you are having.
Of all the life skills that a child will need in the future life. So creating opportunities for these in different forms of play would be very useful to promote the future well-being of the child. We look at play, and we all know play, in all its form, addresses the different aspects of child development, which we all know. The intellectual development, which involves the problem-solving skills, the critical thinking, the creativity and imagination, the language acquisition. Really, the play provides, a great opportunity for language acquisition. Children cannot play when they are quiet. And it's not easy to actually sit your child down and say, now we are learning about our language. But as they engage with the materials, as they engage with situations, they are able, to explore and acquire a wider vocabulary of words. Yeah, then understanding also the concepts, as they play with the materials, as they play with, different situations, they are able to understand a number of concepts like, the spatial perception, understanding, the, many few as they play. So instead of looking at only formal, my argument is that we can actually start earlier, but also we can input and use what children come with from their homes to expound on the learning that the child deserves. When you look at the social skills, play with others teaches them skills that like cooperation, sharing, when they do engage in group activities, they learn sharing, they learn turn taking, they negotiate as they play, who should play first, who can come and play with me. So that helps them to develop the social skills as they play together, as they interact and help one another. Play also helps with emotional regulation. Especially when we look at the structured play, where we have rules, where we know, there is competition, winning and losing. Instead of, telling them that you don't have to be angry because but this game requires this, and therefore when you lose, this is what comes on. So they help them to learn how to manage and regulate their emotions, which is a key important life skill in this world. Then the self-confidence and self-esteem, which deals a lot with identity and being, confident about themselves as children play and, are able to overcome difficult tasks, and they are able to talk about it. They also develop their self-esteem and confidence. We look at the physical development, where we look at the the large muscles as children. Thank you so much. As the children, do a lot of running around, jumping, skipping, they are actually learning and developing their large muscles, improving their body coordination and the balancing. So that, which all this actually happens in the home. But how are we promoting it? How are we encouraging ourselves, if we are parents, if we are grandparents, to actually tap into it? It's already around us. I think this is the argument I'm bringing about. The finer muscle skills, the manipulative play, as children work with small blocks, as children, learn to fix puzzles. They play with small stones around them. they pick, the small objects around them. They are helped to develop the skills that will help them in the future to enhance their acuity, eye-hand coordination, which are very key in writing, And then when we come also another area is sensory exploration, promoting the use of senses as children play. All the 5 and beyond senses as children play, of course, with guidance. For example, we have leaves around us, we have flowers around us. If the child is playing with it, I guide. You can touch, you can smell, but you can't taste. It is harmful. To understand the things in the environment, the things around them. Yeah, so, and then we come to the next one, which is about the types of play. The types of play where we look at the unstructured play, which I feel this is the most neglected one because it is child-initiated, child-led, no restrictions, no specific goals, and with a lot of creativity and independence. A child is free to stop if he feels he wants. A child is free to continue if he wants to continue, and it is self-directed. So that kind of play really promotes the ownership of what the child is doing, the ownership of what the child is exploring, the ownership of the child, what the child is learning. So that is one critical type of play that children actually can engage in if we create an environment that promotes it. Environment in terms of time, environment in terms of safety.
2 more minutes.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So we come to indigenous education. Let me come. When we come to indigenous education, what does it mean? Indigenous education is more than just games. We look at the storytelling. We look at the nature-based activities. We look at the traditional games and sports. We look at the artistic expressions where we have music, dance, and then the social interactions. I want to move to, we have also the indigenous play, which can promote culture and spiritual development, looking at a number of areas that can be supported there if we actually promote it. I want us to look at how can we actually reclaim indigenous play, the different strategies that we can use. Here we have, am I losing it? I wanted to end with this slide, which has strategies where we have the community engagement. Yes, that's one. I can't see it very well. Community engagement, where we look at the elders. The elders has a wealth of knowledge. How can we tap into the elders' knowledge to inform the younger generation, to inform the education system, to incorporate that knowledge into the current materials, into the current resources? Curriculum integration, can we see the curriculum tapping into these stories that are traditional to promote, the cultures that the communities actually believe in? We also look at the resource mobilization, support the use of low-cost and no-cost materials. We look at the teacher training so that the teachers are well-equipped, well-informed, but also there is regular continuous professional development. Then the other one is documentation. Can we document the games that we used to play in the different cultures? And this could be a resource that the training institutions could pick on, the curriculum developers could use, and then have a well-resourced curriculum that institutions, that schools, that parents can use. Then the last one is policy advocacy, advocating for policies that actually promote the indigenous play, using some of those activities that I talked about. And I think I want to conclude with this one. The full presentation is there with you, and that's what I have to present. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Hajra. You have covered quite a lot, telling us about what play is all about, the different types of play, and some of the strategies about the Leadership Summit. And then I'll come to Lydia about child online protection. Then you will talk about the relevance of boarding schools, and then I'll finish with you, Hajra, by you telling us if play is so central, then
girls running projects on gender, safe spaces, on anything related to ensuring that the women also but women to court when they are
that we not just respond to the issues of children who have been exploited, but also that we work with the children and the safety net around them to ensure that they are protected from being exploited in the first instance. And so we have a lot of sensitization programs that we do directly with children in schools, and also targeting their caregivers and their parents, so that they are able to reinforce the learning that the children have already taken through the sensitization forums. And so we have developed a workbook in partnership with an organization called Terre des Hommes Netherlands. And this is a workbook that has 10 sessions, each session targeting one particular aspect of online safety, for example, sexual grooming. And so we go through those sessions with the children, taking them through specific examples, asking them about their experiences anonymously, and also guiding them on how would you identify when someone is grooming you, for example. How would you identify a risk where someone is probably luring you into live streaming of sexual content, among other things. So we take them through those sessions. After the 10 sessions, the children are invited to create items, sometimes music, sometimes skits, anything artistic, to help them unpack the message they have learned in those 10 sessions to the rest of the school. So they will be given opportunity, usually at the assembly, and they act out any of those sessions that they have gone through. And the children and the teachers will give them feedback on what they have understood about the session, and so they take that advantage to take the whole school through a bit of learning of what they have gone through. And in that sense, then the children themselves become peer educators. They are able to educate the rest of the school, including the teachers, on matters of online safety. Okay. And so we continue mentoring them through that journey.
Thank you. Thank you, Martha.
We also have children who are harmed online, and so they are also able to report to us through the helpline.
Okay.
So that is the loop that we create, so that they are able to, one, learn, but also to take action.
All right. So you do both responsive and preventive. But can you just, in 30 seconds, tell us how serious is child online abuse in Kenya? Because we may be thinking that it's something that is happening out there and not so much here in Kenya. What are the numbers looking like?
A lot here in Kenya. So we have implemented these programs in 4 counties now in Kenya, and not even entire counties, pockets of those counties: Nakuru, Mombasa, Kisumu, Kilifi, and Nairobi, portions of those counties. Now, when we started in 2018, we only had 13 cases reported. As we speak now, every year we receive more than 200 cases reported. So I think the issue is in the understanding of what, how we define matters of online safety and exploitation and vulnerability. And when people understand that, then the reporting is higher. So in all those, in 4 or 5 counties, you have more than 200 cases reported. And those are the areas where we have programs. If we were to do that nationally, you can imagine the numbers, they would be big. So I think it is a tight situation in Kenya, but programming has been very limited. And even then, the numbers are pretty high.
All right. So a lot more awareness to parents is needed in this area. Thank you.
Yes, parents and children.
Yes, Mercy, your 1.5 minutes. Boarding schools and dealing with social norms, harmful social norms.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nyamu. Just to respond in 1.5 minutes. Why boarding school? I mentioned earlier that we work in a community where harmful cultural practices are still very rampant. So the reason why Kakenya Stream thought of boarding school is, one, the founder is a FGM survivor. So she thought as a way of ensuring that the girls doesn't go through that, a boarding school would be a solution. So Maasai community, I'm not sure I can say in like any other communities, girls do a lot of housework. So that definitely doesn't give them time to read or study. And also as a girl in a Maasai community, since you have responsibilities, you don't get chance to play as a child. So what we do away from the boarding school is we do a lot of sensitization in the community to ensure that all the stakeholders involving men and boys becomes allies in terms of eliminating these harmful cultural practices. So it's key to also have...
Thank you very much. Hajara, thank you very much. Hajara, I wanted you to speak into the role of parents in promoting play, invigorating and re-energizing what we seem to have lost as part of our indigenous local knowledge.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'll start with the role of the parents. The role of the parents, I think, I see the connectivity. If the children are in a formal education setting, the connectivity between the parents and the formal education is actually losing out. When that connectivity is strengthened, and what do the parents engage in? Many times we see when the parents are engaged, they are talking about management issues of the school. But we need to look at what the parent can do at home with the child. I would call it extending, and this is collaboration. What are the children learning at the center or the school, and what the parents are promoting it? What do the parents have that can inform the teachers at the center? So that connectivity, that collaborative work between what the children is learning and the play activities, for me, I feel that is a weak point. It's more into management. So parents at home, they need to provide the quality time where actually they know the child is engaged in play, and they need to look at how do they get involved in promoting the play. 2, 3, how can they use things around them? Not looking at buying dolls, not looking at buying toy cars, but we can use things around us and imitate. We can do all the activities using sticks to imitate a car, using leaves to imitate, saucepans, cooking, use leaves to decorate. So all those can we promote in our parenting sessions? How can we use the resources around us, to promote play at home? 1, create time. 2, use the locally available resources. 3, how do we empower parents? I think also the formal settings, the NGOs, we could look at the parenting sessions that we do with the parents, assuring them, encouraging them, empowering them that they can do it around them, but also equip them with indigenous knowledge. Those games we used to play, I played them, they are counting games where you stretch your legs out and count and sing, fold one, and then the first one to fold all the 2 is the winner, then you run, chase yourself. Get involved in those activities as the parent. The children will open up more, the children will trust more the parents, instead of looking at the parent and running away, because they know parents are looking for mistakes. The competencies, as we develop the curriculum, we look at the holistic development. What are the aspects that the child needs to develop? but how do we develop them? What kind of activities can we promote? I think even the statements that the curriculum uses need to be also revised to see to what extent is it promoting our indigenous games. You know, we usually say dominoes, jigsaw puzzles. Can we use board games? You know, the language itself can actually be revised to actually bring out the meaning, bring out the message of the traditional games and play that we engage in at school.
Thank you, thank you. And that also speaks to the teacher training program, because if
Exactly.
the teachers are the first ones to not understand, even if it's in the curriculum, then we still have a problem of implementation. I will give one or two questions to the audience. I think it would be unfair to make you listen and not just react, so that after that we close. I'm being told we need to go, but I will allow two comments or questions, if there is any. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Irene, for this opportunity. First and foremost, I'm Kifuka Emmanuel, whole child development champion from Machakos, Yata. I want to applaud the panelists, physical and the one which are virtually connected, the likes of Ajara and the rest. I want to say that I'm humbled to be here. I'm alumni of child online protection training that is supported by CAK, Communication Authority of Kenya, in partnership with Afraiti. They have a campus along Mayaki Way. So I'm humbled, and I want to appreciate how we have connected with now Childline and my other training that I got with CAK. So thank you for that insightful presentation. Thank you.
I'm happy to hear there are more people in the community who are trained on child online protection. Childline also works very closely with the Communication Commission. Yeah, it's actually one of the first government agencies to listen to Childline and start talking about child online protection. So I'm happy to hear that. Sir, you want to make a comment?
Yes, my name is Brian. I work as the head of play in a non-profit called Teach for Kenya. So Hajara's presentation really hit home well. And my question is, all these resources that you guys are sharing, I know the time was brief. Where can we get the full resources now when we can read it and digest it fully? Is it possible you guys share? And especially for Hajara, are there works that you have been able to do, curriculums that you have been able to develop that can help organizations that are looking to integrate play-based learning or help learners to learn through play, learn so that you don't have to invent the wheel?
Yeah, all my years I've been engaged in that. The curriculum that Uganda uses is called the Learning Framework. I was actually leading on that. I've been, done a lot of play activities. I don't know whether you have heard of Play Matters with IRC and working with the refugees in the West Nile. Currently, I'm consulting with Sesame Workshop. It's a US-based organization, the organization behind Sesame Street, and we are doing inclusion and belonging for the refugees, and all that is play. Yeah, so we are available if you need some support. I could say that. Thank you.
Share your email, but also give us your contacts. Then we will definitely have Jaslika send the material and anybody else who is interested in it. Thank you so much. This has been such a productive and engaging learning session. To the audience, I'm really sorry we've been time constrained because I can see there was a lot of interest, but there was no time. So I hope this invites another opportunity for us to think about two things that I think are very important. Of course, it's about child and land protection, it's about play, but also the mentorship and providing empowerment opportunities for girls and women to take up the space. You know, and I like the idea of the alumni network at Kenya and what Sebeso is doing, building the next generation of educators and policymakers in Africa. So this has been awesome. Thank you so, so much. And wishing you all the best, Martha, Sebeso, Hajara, and I can see Clinton was also online. Thank you for joining. And anybody else who was joining online, thank you. We appreciate your time. Okay.
Thank you. It was
Karibu.
nice joining. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have to go back now. It's 4 o'clock. I think the other session is beginning. But we've used our time well. Thank you. The what?